All right, here with your coach, Rob Talley, heading into week 4, home against Merrimack. Coach, let's briefly recap AIC. Certainly, you don't really need to go much further than 4 turnover returns for score. Have you ever, not to lighten it, but have you ever seen anything like that? And obviously, weren't on the side that you want to be of it, but that was kind of really basically summed up Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably extremely frustrating. I've never been part of a game like that where you give up 4 scores for touchdowns, and then you lose by a score of 33 to 5. So really frustrating. And then every time it kind of happened again, we're like, you can't believe it's happening. But there were a lot of positives that came out of that game. Our defense played really well, really limiting a team like AIC to 60 yards rushing, and a team that wants to run the football, wants to be physical, and for us to be able to do that, it was remarkable. And then also us being able to run the football. We rushed the ball for over 200 yards, and once again a really good defense. So we talked about it from day one. We have to take care of the football. When we turn the football over and we give up scores, it's really hard to win football games. And we turned the ball over 7 times on Saturday, and we only got 1 turnover, so it's hard to win games.
We talked a little bit last week. You guys were among the leaders in turnover margin, and I don't need to give you I'm sure you know the number off the top of your head this year on the plus minus. So what do you work on week to week? You touched on it a little bit. Is it just more of that repetition? And
Yeah, well, I think one of the first things, in the one area where we could get some improvement from defensively is to get more turnovers. We really have 1 turnover on the year on the defensive side of the ball. So we need to pick that pace up, give the offense more opportunities with the football. And then second of all, I think it's whether it's taking care of the ball, some ball security. So we're preaching it throughout the day, having the scout team, having the defense really ripping after the football, and making sure we keep the football off the ground. And then also, I think from an interception standpoint, it's about decisions. It's about guys finishing. We had some tip passes that are leading to interceptions, and we need to come down with those catches. So it's never just one person. There's never just one thing. It's really working as a team to eliminate those costly turnovers.
Another positive this with the way directions the program's gone is games like Saturday have become a rarity, and you're kind of surprised to see that. And how have you? The expectation of the team, how is that the team taking it? What's been approached this week, and keeping that to be games like that to be a minimum?
Well, I thought the thing that was interesting, and especially in the second half, and I was really looking for it as a team, is do we start to pull apart? Because obviously from a defensive standpoint, I can the they were pretty frustrating, and even us, we were moving the football up and down the field, and then committing turnovers in the red zone. So it was good to see the team. They didn't pull apart, if anything, and it brought them closer together. I think they're committed to keep on working at it. They know the areas that we need to improve on, and they're committed to doing that. So obviously the expectation is a lot higher, but I think the commitment level is also a lot higher from our players.
One positive out of the game. Another positive, I guess, would be your place kicker, Steve Griswack, became the all-time leader in field goals. He's a player who's currently had to gone through his growing pains, but I really feel as though he's become such a consistent kicker for you guys right around the middle point of last year. And knock on wood, he hasn't missed a kick this year. But let's talk about him and his development, and to be a weapon for you guys.
Well, the reason we talked to Steve about is consistency, and he started out the last season a little shaky, but then he really turned on the second half of the season. That's one reason. He's a second team all-conference kid. So we need to just get him more opportunities. Really, hopefully at PATs, but we need to get more opportunities. And so once again, he can show how consistent he's become. I know he works real hard at it. During the summer, and spends a lot of time, with his coach back at home. So with his kid coach back at home. So I know it's really important to him, and he's gotten better. And we just want to keep on seeing that improvement.
On Saturday, you guys blocked 3 kicks, I believe that is the number. Just about what you guys are able to do on a special team. That's kind of been a niche for you guys. You've been, especially Sterry now. He had 2 more, and I think he's 4 or 5 now for his career.
Yeah, but it's really it's the little details of the game, and especially special teams, and I think that's even a big ring. When you block an extra point, a lot of defensive players on the field, and once again, those guys, they didn't take a play off. They kept on fighting even after a score was given up, and it wasn't by them. They went on the field and made sure they took care of it. So I think it's great. We stress special teams a lot. It has to be a weapon for us. And once again, now there's another positive that came out. Even our coverage units and our return units, we did pretty good on Saturday, and it was just overshadowed by the costly turnovers.
Today, Brian Harrington is named a semifinalist for the Campbell Trophy and the National Football Foundation Scholar Athlete Award. Second year in a row you guys have had someone on that list. Last year, James Lanier. We talk about Brian on the field a lot, but talk about him off the field and, obviously school work, and you're here as a student athlete, and he certainly is an epitome of that on your team.
I think he's one of those kids that he's successful both on and off the field because he works so hard. I'm not going to sit there and say he's all this gifted genius that just is such a waste. He works at it. He works it in the classroom, works it on the field, and it shows. And just his approach is a consistent approach. He comes to practice ready to go, happy, smiling. There's no other place he'd rather be, when he gets out to the practice field. So loves this game of football. I know he has plans to head into the military, and you can really see that fitting into his personality and what drives him. And he needs something to fall behind, and he's definitely a guy you want in the service. So I'm excited for him. He's definitely a guy that's worthy of any accolades he receives, both on the academic and athletic side.
Your offensive line's given up just 1 sack this year, the top 10 in the country for that. Just talk about them as a unit come together, kind of a mix of youth and experience, and really come together and kind of playing a role now, and then providing for your rushing game that's doing so well.
Well, I think the biggest thing we try to do, I think it starts when we talk about our line with our O-line coach, Tyler Moody, who does really fantastic guys with those guys up front, and he's had to juggle some people, losing an all-conference kid at left tackle, and having to go with a sophomore, Joe McGinnis, who hadn't played at all coming into this year. So they just do a great job. They work at it. They're a real close group, and I think some of that could lead to our quarterbacks too, where our quarterbacks aren't holding on to the ball very long. Our quarterbacks getting rid of it. So once again, we need to continue that. And when your run game is going to, it really helps you from the standpoint. It's hard for other teams to generate a rush and pin their ears back because you're not in predictable third down situations.
Coming in Saturday night. Merrimack coming to town, obviously after 2 weeks on the road. I'm sure you're happy to be playing at WB again for the next 2 weeks, and certainly starting off a Saturday. Just talk about, with Merrimack coming in, they're won a couple games in a row, and certainly seem to be starting to pick up their momentum a little bit.
Well, to me, they're a team, that runs a wide open offense. But they have a really good balance with it from a run-pass standpoint. Playing with a young quarterback, they don't ask him to do a bazillion things, but they really got to ask him to do a few things, and he does it really well. So he's really made the transition from high school to quarterback seem rather easy. And they have some weapons. Is the biggest thing with them. And I think their last 2 games, the defense has played really well for them. They've come up with turnovers. They've come up with some big stops, in their own territory. So they're playing well on both sides of the ball. We're going to have to come and be ready to play on Saturday night.
They're a team that seems to have improved a lot on defense. They're certainly not giving up a lot of points. Just talk about what on the defensive side.
I think in some ways that they're simplifying it. They have really good players over there, and they're just letting them play. I wouldn't say they're a flashy defense, but starts up front for them. They have some solid players, and to me, week in and week out, they continue to improve. So we have to try to go and attack them. Take advantage of what they give us, and hopefully have a little more success on the offensive end.
I can probably name off the 3 keys for you this week, but 3 keys to a victory Saturday night for you guys.
It's turnovers, probably turnovers, and turnovers. But turnovers are going to be big for us. and our ability to score touchdowns. When you go against an offense that has the ability to put up a lot of points, you really have to be ready to match them point for point. So we have to put up some touchdowns, and then we have to be able to run the football. We're able to run the football. We'll take a little pressure off the quarterback. We'll be able to throw the ball when we want to throw the ball. So to me, those would be the three keys.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck on Saturday night.
Thank you very much.